Now, there's something else here that's quite difficult. And when I'm talking about difficult, I mean it's difficult for people who want to come to understand meditation. And that's because teachers these days, they're humans, right? They just want to be liked. And if they're not so good, then they want to be popular, or they want to get a lot of likes on YouTube. They want lots of followers, and they want to get likes on YouTube. And so they don't say things you don't want to hear. Because if they say things you don't want to hear, then it's quite likely you'll get upset and you'll follow somebody else. And that's pretty well all of the meditation teachers that you will meet these days. And there is a way that you can tell if they're like that. Now, they may not have kind of nefarious motivations. They might not be charlatans. There are many charlatans out there who just want your money. But equally, there are many teachers out there who are actually very, very nice people. And they do help a lot of people. I mean, with their worldly problems, much like a psychiatrist or a yoga teacher might. But if you want to see if underneath that, it's just their human compulsion to be liked or to be popular, then it's very simple. Because these kind of teachers will say to you, you're already enlightened. All you need to do is rest in the now. This is the most common thing I hear, really. And it's because we're lazy. We don't want to apply ourselves. And in reality, emancipation, liberation from suffering and samsara is not easy in any way. But it's a bit like homework. Most of us don't really want to do that. Or exercise, for example. Let's say exercise. Let's say I've decided I'm going to do a marathon next year, and then I've got to kind of train, right? I could never run a marathon myself. And if I wanted to, I would have to train quite hard. And it's quite painful. It's not enjoyable. And it's the same way with coming to understand mind or coming to know meditation. It takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of diligence. And a true meditation teacher will never tell you, you don't have to practice. You don't have to struggle. There's a direct shortcut path you can take. You don't have to take the progressive path. It taught in the scriptures that it took the Buddha 3 countless eons to become enlightened. But you don't have to do that. I have an alternative way. It's an easy way. Now, if you believe anything that was taught about the Buddha, then that statement is quite laughable. Because of all the humans, then the Buddha was taught to be of the greatest disposition, the greatest potential. And becoming a Buddha, for example, is far more difficult than, let's say, becoming the President of the United States of America. Now, if I were to ask you, in this lifetime, could you become the President of the United States of America? And there's very few people who think they would be able to do that. And the people who do think they can do that, most of them are delusional. It's not easy. Even if you're already an experienced and well-known politician in America, it's not certain that you can do that, right? Well, what the Buddha did was to achieve liberation from samsara and become fully enlightened. And that's not just for this lifetime, but for all future lifetimes. And so I ask you to rethink things a little bit. If you think you're already there, and you don't need to apply yourself in order to become awakened or gain spiritual accomplishment, then I want you to ask yourself, so why is it that the Buddha, Milarepa, the adepts of the past, why is it that they had to exert themselves with such great diligence in order to achieve their goal? But maybe this isn't for you. It's quite possible you're not interested in any of this, and that you don't even believe in liberation, or in past and future lives, or even karma for that matter. It might just be that you want to make your time on this planet a little bit more comfortable and easier to manage, to insulate yourself from mundane discomfort. And if that is your goal, then I'm very happy with that. Seeking temporary happiness is fine. But if, like me, you're somebody who doesn't believe in this myth, who doesn't believe that things have to be like this, that in order to get by, others have to suffer. In order to live, that we have to bring about the discomfort of others, and also who has some hope that there is something else, then I encourage you to look further and not to accept victory. Also, don't easily accept the statements of others. Of your teachers, ask difficult questions. And if they are stuck for answers, or their answers are self-contradictory, then I suggest that you should investigate further. Do not accept things out of mere respect, but analyze. Like a goldsmith, analyze gold by cutting it, rubbing it, and burning it to see if it is authentic. Anyway, see you next time.